Hello everyone. Today we will continue to talk about reliable transmission. This corresponds to the section 2.5 in your textbook. Please read the corresponding material in order to get better understanding. In last class, we talk about the two protocols. One is stop and wait protocol, and then we also begin to talk about sliding window protocol. So first, let's recall what is the stop and wait protocol. It's kind of straightforward, right? So basically, after you're transmitting one frame, and then the sender will not transmit another frame until they get the acknowledgement from the receiver. So basically, I transmit one frame and then wait the receiver to send me the acknowledgement to tell me they already received it successfully, and then I will continue to transmit another frame. Okay, so if the acknowledge does not arrive after a certain timeout window or timeout time or timeout window, then the sender will begin to resend the original frame. Just say one more time. Basically, stop and wait protocol means I send the one frame, wait for the acknowledgement, and then after I receive the acknowledgement, which means the receiver receives the previous frame successfully, and then I will begin to transmit another frame. If I wait, the sender wait for a while, and when the timeout window ends, I still not receive the acknowledgement from the receiver, I will assume that the package lost or something happened with the acknowledgement signal, then I will transmit the same or the original frame again. So this is the main idea of the stop and wait protocol. As what we mentioned in last class, it is straightforward and simple, but it's kind of not used the bandwidth or the networking resources efficiently. Basically, there is a lot of waste of the bandwidth. In order to address this kind of issue, to use the networking resources more effectively, we have another protocol which called the sliding window. The difference from between the stop and wait protocol and the sliding window is that the sliding window I will not send one frame and wait until getting the acknowledgement, then send another frame. Basically, before I receive any acknowledgement, I'm allowed to send up to n frames. So basically, I'm able to send n frames. Those frames are not have any acknowledgement information at all, and then I will send the n plus 1 frame after or at the moment I receive the acknowledgement, or we call it ACK, for the first frame of arrives. For example, here basically I can send up to n frames, and those n frames does not have any ACK associated. And then I will send another package, which is n plus 1 package or n plus 1 frame. At the moment I receive the ACK, which is associated with the first frame. Okay, so in last class, and one thing is by doing so, we potentially basically within each return time round RTT, I'm able to send up to or occupy up to n frame rather than one frame, which is in the stop and the wait protocol. Okay, so and then we kind of quantize the senders from the sender end for the sliding window protocol. Basically, we have three terms introduced. First, called the LFS, which is the last frame sent, which is the last frame you send before you receive that acknowledgement. And also has the LAR, means the last acknowledgement received. Basically, it's the time or the index, sorry, the sequence index you associated with the frame which has the acknowledgement. And between them, this difference is the how many frame you have been sent but not received any acknowledgement. And this supposed to be within or less or equal to the upper bound of your capacity for your window size. So which is SWS, which is the sending window size. Let's say one more time. So basically, the sequence or sequence index of the frame which you send just right before this moment, and minus the sequence index of the already frame with acknowledgement already. The difference, or after calculate this subtraction, that result supposed to be limited by the capacity of the time window, which is called the sending window size. So therefore, we can get this, the equation inequality. Basically, LFS minus LAR, that's equal to SWS. If you look at here, basically the number of frame here, you're supposed to be less or equal to the capacity of the window. So that is overall what this means. So now we begin to talk about this quantization from the receiver side. Here is the sender side. The receiver side also introduced three terms. One, receiving window size. So basically, the upper bound of the window, or say the capacity of the receiver, how much they can buffer of the package before send out the acknowledgement. Okay, so another is, or we say here more officially say, is the upper bound on the number of out-of-order frames that the receiver is willing to accept. Okay, so another term called LAF refer to largest acceptance frame. Basically, it's the sequence number or the sequence index of the largest acceptable frame. Okay, and the last one is the last frame received, which short for LFR, which means the sequence number of the last frame received. Basically means they send the ACK. So if I think here is more easier to explain. So here is the last frame received. Basically is the index of the frame you already sent out ACK or acknowledgement. And here is the upper bound or the last frame you can accept. Basically, this part has no acknowledgement sent out yet. And then between that, the difference between these two is the buffer, how much you can buffer in your receiver. Basically, you accept that package, but without send out the acknowledgement. Again, the LAF minus LFR will be less equal to this receiver window set, which is the upper bound of the buffer or capacity of the buffer. Okay, again, if you compare this sliding window on the receiver, right? And this is the sliding window. This is the sliding window on the sender, and this is the sliding window on the receiver. Okay. So now, if you recall last time, we said in order to reduce the potential duplicate package situation for the send and wait, right? That stop and wait protocol. We kind of assign the sequence number or the sequence index 0 and 1 to make sure the receiver will know which is the recent retransmission package or which is the next package, right? So similarly, in this protocol, sliding window protocol, we also will assign the frame with the sequence number, as we already talked actually when we talk about the receiver window size and the sender window size. We already talked about these sequence numbers. So based on this sequence number, how does the receiver know whether I need to accept this package or this frame, or I need to discard that? So let's assume currently the receiver receives a one packet with the sequence number. Okay, if the sequence number is less or equal to LFR, so basically that package or that frame is the one before the frame already sent out the ACK, or basically this belongs to here, or that the package, that the frame is the one after the upper bound, the latest acceptable frame, then I will think this package, this frame is outside of the receiver window. As long as this frame is identified as outside of the receiver window, the receiver will discard that, basically will not accept that. Okay. Similarly, if this frame has the sequence number indicating that this frame is within the receiver window size. In other words, it is basically after the frame or located after the frame that send out ACK, and also is before the frame which is the last frame it can be accepted or can be buffered in receiver. Then this frame associated with this sequence number considered as within this receiver window. Therefore, the receiver will accept that. Okay. After accept that, they need to decide whether this receiver need to decide whether need to send out ACK or not. Okay. So in order to do that, we need to introduce another term called sequence number to acknowledgement, which referred to the largest sequence number, basically the latest frame, the sequence index of the latest frame that has not been sending out acknowledgement. And in other words, means if all the frame before or at this frame, which is the frame with the sequence number to acknowledgement, then those frame will already be received. Let's see one more time. So basically, I identify one frame which has the index is equal to sequence number to acknowledgement. If a frame has the sequence index equal to this term, what does that mean? That means that frame is the latest frame that can be accepted or that has been accepted or received by the receiver, but it has not sent out the acknowledgement yet. Okay, so in that way means what? Means all the frame before or at this package is already been received by this receiver.